Okay, let's talk about Invictus. I am only halfway through, so I wanted to talk about my thoughts so far. Let's just get into the plot so we have that out of the way in case you don't know. So this is sort of a sci-fi, I guess. It is like about the future. We have a main character who was born outside of time, if that makes sense. In the future, there's this capability of time travel. And his mom was a famous time traveler who gave birth to him outside of our known plane of time. And so he technically doesn't have like a birthday per se, and he was born outside of our realm of time. He too wants to be a famous time traveler and really wants to find out what happened to his mom and where she is, because something happened with her along the way. And so he tries to become a famous time traveler like she is, or she was. And what happens is his test was messed up by some error. He says it's an error in the system, but the school board says that it was his fault. Anyway, it causes him to not be able to be a time traveler in the sense that he thought he was going to be a time traveler. And instead, what he does is he becomes a time traveler for some like underground, like black market time traveling system that time travels back to steal prized possessions and then sell them in the future, in his current timeline in the future. So it's theft, future theft, it's future black market. And it is interesting because I have to talk about one more thing before I get into my thought. Along the way, him and his crew that he has, which are made up of his cousin and his friends, this other girl hops on board their time traveling spaceship. And she essentially tries to weasel her way onto his crew. And she has messed things up for him in the past. And she wants to join his crew. Who knows why? She is very skilled in all of this. And so we along the way try to find out who she is. And see if far away our main character ever finds his mom. So that is that. Again, I am halfway through the book, which I think I need to change the lighting on here. So just a minute. All right, I hope that's better. Anyway, so I'm only halfway through this, and when I first read the plot of the book, I was like, I'm not going to enjoy this. Like, I fully. Like I'll give it a shot, but like I'm not into sci-fi, I'm not into futuristic things. I'm a person who loves history. I like things that remain in the past or maybe the present. And this was about time travel, so I'm like, okay, so there's gonna be a lot of future aspects of this book. I'm not sure if I'm into that. But I gave it a shot, and surprisingly, those aspects weren't bad for me. I actually enjoyed them, and the moments where far away, our main character has traveled back in time have been so fascinating to me and very fun to imagine. So I'm enjoying those parts when he is traveling back in time. As for other aspects of this book, I guess the aspects that make me not want to read the rest of it, I probably will read the rest of it. just because I'm already halfway through. There are 450 pages or so, and I'm at about 200. So it's like I've already come this far. Why not read the rest of it, right? I think the things that like make me a little bit apprehensive or like not super excited to read the rest of it is just, I guess it's just more the parts that bring me back to like just how future-based this book really is. And also like, okay, some people really find the crew to be very charming, but at this point in the book, I am not that for it. You know what I mean? I am kind of interested to see if Faraway, the main character, is going to end up falling in love with this Elliot girl who has weaseled her way onto their time travel spaceship, because it just seems like the chemistry's there. It seems like this is where this is heading, but they might completely throw in this random plot line that makes me think otherwise. Or they might throw in something like, oh my gosh, they're actually related. I don't know. If that's a thing, I don't. I literally don't know at this point. To me, it seems like they are going to fall in love because she is... Oh, that's what I suspect at this point. If you've read the entire book, you might be laughing at that. Probably are. But it's just... She seems extra cool. Like, she's extra good at everything. And Faraway, the main character, totally gives, like, rebellious, charming guy vibes. You know what I mean? Not in, like, a Mary Sue kind of a way, because he does have his faults. Which is something that I do appreciate about the characters in the book, is that none of them, like, the crew works as a team and they all have strengths and they all have weaknesses. There isn't like, it isn't like Faraway is the main character and he's good at everything and he's the one that solves everything. Like, it's like they genuinely do work as a crew and they genuinely do all have strengths and weaknesses that help the plot move forward and like help the crew work as a team. Which I appreciate. I don't know if I would have liked this as much if Faraway had been like this, like, Mary Sue type that's, like, good at everything, you know. But he's definitely, like, that rebellious, like, F the rules kind of, character. And Elliot, the girl who weasels her way on the ship, is sort of this, like... I don't want to say free spirit, but like she doesn't obey the rules either, and she is sort of like this one step ahead of him always, and he seems like he'd be the type of guy that would be super into that. Although he does have a girlfriend currently where I'm at in the book, and I think her name's Priya. I'm forgetting the other two characters' names, which is terrible, but sometimes it'd be that way. But his girlfriend is a part of their crew, and I really like her character right now. Like, I'm super, like, into their story, so I'm hoping that's not where this goes. But I have a feeling it will, because there's already some sort of, like, vague jealousy. Like, Priya's handling it very well, but, like, clearly Faraway is obsessed with this girl, and Elliot. Or obsessed in the intriguing way, like, why is she here? Why is she always one step ahead of me? Like, all of this stuff. And so it's sort of this, like, is this gonna happen? Who knows? What's gonna happen with this? Is this gonna turn into a love triangle? Right now it's not, but is it going to? I do not know. And I'm not super into those type of plot lines. I'm just not. Like, so far, Priya is great. Like, why even care about this Elliot character? Like, yes, she completely ruined... I guess she did completely ruin something huge for him, but whatever. Or at least it seems that way. Again, I am only halfway through, so all of this it might come out that there's, like, other things that have happened and that she didn't ruin things or whatever. But so far, that's what it seems like. And I don't know. There are aspects of it that I really enjoy so far, though. And those are the aspects of the actual time travel. When it comes down to the crew itself, like there's parts of it that I really enjoy. They're dynamic. I do enjoy. But sometimes the characters themselves are kind of annoying to me. Sorry, hot take. Like, the characters themselves are, like, sometimes a little too much. And it feels, I don't even know if this is true, but it feels very much like a millennial wrote this book. And I don't know how to explain that further. But it does to me. And, like, they have this pet red panda in the book that's on the ship with them. And, you know, that's like completely minor, but it did kind of like rub me the wrong way because red pandas are my favorite animal. And the red panda it's like domesticated red panda, which I guess the future has. And to me, the red panda is so annoying. Like, get it together. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a ball of chaos. It's like when people write kittens into storylines or like annoying small dogs and they're just like everywhere and messing everything up. But it's like supposed to be charming and cute. I don't find it charming and cute. I'm like, get out of here. Which is sad because I love red pandas. They're my fave. And they have been for years. I'm a red panda totem. Like, you know what I mean? So there is that. I'm like, I don't act that way. It's not me. I'm just kidding, but you know, there is that. And his cousin, there's parts of her that I'm like, okay, that's kind of fun, like the whole like fact that she colors her hair every day, changes her hair color, and she's always looking a little different is interesting to me. But she does very much to me give like trying to be extra quirky, and like, isn't that cute that she's super extra quirky? You know, and it's like, I don't know why, but that just characters like that just don't speak to me, I think is the real issue here. And that's, you know, again, that's just my preference sort of a thing. I think a lot of people really enjoy her. I'm sure she's actually a lot of people's favorite character. And she is a pretty integral part to this story thus far. So, you know, there is that. And, I don't know. I think the characters, just for my taste, each of them have, like, sort of an annoying quality about them that I don't know if it's meant to be annoying. Like, maybe the author intentionally made them all, like, slightly annoying, to make them more real, or like, I don't know, like authentic, but it doesn't feel that way or come across that way. It feels like we're supposed to really like every single character, but that they do have like flaws about them, but even those are supposed to be appealing or charming in some way, or at least relatable in some way. And I just don't feel that way. not very much. All of them have some quality about them that I'm like, okay. Really? So that's that this far. That's where I'm at. Oh, there was also another part in this book that I thought was so funny. It wasn't really relating to the plot at all, but there was a part where they went to, where did they go? They went to Las Vegas in 2020, in the year 2020. And I was laughing so hard just at that alone because it was so good. First of all, I can't remember. I think they said like April of 2020. I'm like, ooh, mid-pandemic. They're just in Vegas. But this book was written, I believe, in 2017, so they had no idea. I wonder how many people were discussing this online during this time, because, or during 2020, because this would have been a funny conversation to have with other people who've read this book. That made me laugh a lot, because they would mention like things that were popular in 2020, because again, this book is in the future, so this is like time traveling back for them. And they kept saying like, the way that we're dressed isn't gonna seem like anything in 2020, because Vegas in 2020 is like anything goes. You can pretty much dress any way you want to, and nobody's gonna think anything of it. And it's like, well, were you masked up? Why were you even at Vegas? I mean, come on, I'm sure there were people in Vegas April 2020, but most of them were masked up or given very judgmental looks, and the news was constantly talking about the state of the world at this point. I'm not even sure if in April of 2020 if the casinos were even open. I don't even know. Many of them probably were closed. It just was so funny. Also, there was something else that I thought was so good in here about that. One thing I remember is that they said, like, long flowy dresses are out, so you need to change. And I just thought that was so funny because during 2020, like, typically I think, yeah, we would all think in 2017, like, we're not moving towards flowy dresses in 2020. Like, if anything, you know, our clothing is getting smaller and shorter and, you know, tighter or whatever. You know, we wouldn't think flowy dress since 2017, right? Or whenever this book was written and published. But in 2020, the strawberry dress was the biggest clothing item craze at the time. And women were coming out of the woodworks, just experimenting with their style. I mean, many of us were dressed just so casual, extra casual pajamas 24/7. But it was either that or we are playing with our style. We're wearing the flowy dresses. We're experimenting and pushing the limits with where our style has gone culturally. I just thought that was so funny. It's like, flowy dresses are out in 2020. Really? Because the strawberry dress had us in a chokehold. But that was so good. And also they were saying like, and fresh, vibrant colors were super in 2020. And I'm like, for hair colors. And I'm like, ironic because nobody could go to the hairdresser. Like, ironic because nobody could even go to the store to buy frivolous things like hair dye. Or like most people weren't going to the store to dye their hair. But anyway, those were beside the point. I just thought those were really funny little moments. And, you know, as an author, I don't blame her for that, obviously, because it's like, how can you ever predict something so crazy to happen in our world? And when you're writing about the future, it is touchy because you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, also about the future is the futuristic aspects of this book. Some of them I didn't really feel were super, like, realistic for the future. Some of them felt very today's world writing about the future, if that makes sense. I don't know. Notably, the, I don't know, something about the way that the robots were talking in the beginning. I don't know. I think I'm like that, though, with a lot of futuristic books. It's like, I don't know if the future would be like that. That's interesting. But it's like, I can't, I guess, read a book about the future and place what I imagine the future to be like before it. I just have to go along with, this is the future. This is what the future's like, according to this, you know? Which is sometimes hard for me to expand, my mind to believing. Like it feels very much like today's world imagining the future, if that makes some sense when I'm reading this book in a lot of ways. But, you know, again, like I said before, it does feel like a millennial wrote this. I also don't know if that's true. Could be true. I should have looked into the author a little bit more. But I did not. Anyway, it is pretty interesting, though, especially if you like chosen family storylines, great for that. Also, if you do kind of like charming, cutesy qualities within animals, you might like the red panda in this book. Also, if you like sort of vibrant, quirky female roles with like vibrant personalities, you will probably like his cousin in this book. I think you will like this book if you enjoy futuristic plot lines. I probably will read the rest of it because I am this far. And there are things that are interesting. I just tend to like things that revolve around the past, and that's more of a me problem. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Invictus, I'm gonna probably mess up this last name, by Ryan Grodin? It's a good read. Good read so far.